All right, I got 8 minutes and 23 seconds to walk through. Going into practice 3. Had 2 good days in spiders. It's spiders, but excited to get out there with the pads on a little today. You guys will be there for 5 periods. Period 5 will have a little contact going on. 2 snaps with the 1s, 2s, and the freshmen will get a chance just to teach them how to thud to start off with. So looking forward to it. Questions?
Speaking of freshmen, Francis's name came up a few times on Wednesday. Looks like he's put in a lot of work weight room wise. I mean, he was obviously here in the spring. What has he shown you so far?
Yeah, Francis is a big, strong, athletic guy. He was here in the spring, but it was kind of banged up. He had a hamstring on the right side, then a hamstring on the left, and then it was always something. But he's really gotten his body together, more balanced. Coach Stack's done a great job. Francis put a lot of work into it. So we're going to see. It's a work in progress. There's a lot of competition going on inside there, and Francis got a chance to go in there and fight for playing time.
You don't usually have freshmen play on the line, but because of all the openings and open reps and snaps and jobs on the D-line, could you see more freshmen figuring in there this year?
No doubt about it. I mean, I think, that group up front, it's a position you can play young. It's not like, the offensive line. I think you can play on the D-line young, and guys that are athletic enough. We've played with young defensive ends before, and you can play with young guys inside as well.
Are you seeing depth on wide receiver?
Kinda. We're still a little bit banged up there for some reason, but we've got depth. I think we'll be 2 deep when the season starts for sure. I like what we see out there. But again, we'll see more when the pads come on as well.
Talking to Kate on Wednesday, asked about what type of improvements need to be made on the offense from the spring. And he talked about marrying the pass and the run game together. How important is that for this offense?
Marrying the pass game and the run game together is vital. Okay. I'll go back to the COVID year when I sat our offense down on an open week before we played Florida State at Florida State, and he's like, listen, this stuff ain't married. As a defense coordinator, when you're looking at formation going, it's all 100% pass, that's a problem. So you gotta have the run game, and I think that's how you're successful. When you're 2-dimensional on offense, it's hard. Last year we made teams 2-dimensional. We gave them time to be 2-dimensional, and you can't do that. Defensively, we want to stop the run. And, when people are defending our offense, they better have to worry about both. If they only have to focus on one thing, you got issues.
How's Ryan Jacoby doing? I did practice in the spring, getting back in the
Yeah, he's done a nice job, really nice job. Him and Collier are battling out that left guard spot right now as we speak. And he's kind of, again, our training room, Chris Hanks and Rick, our PT, has done an unbelievable job of getting him back. He wasn't on the field, but he was hitting bags and working some one-on-one, even with some other guys against him that were hurt. They've done a great job of getting him back. I look at where he is right now. It looks like this is where he was when camp ended a year ago at this time. And so he's kind of, stepped in there, and you're like, oh, you thought maybe it was going to take a little while because he's been out for a year, but they've done a great job getting him back.
What about his head through that last year? I mean, last year was supposed to be his year, right? He was supposed to finally step in. And then he loses it, right? He loses it for the whole year. I mean, how did you see his spirit, his mindset of staying in it?
I'm sure, there's the story he showed and the story that, he didn't show. I think everybody, does he leave his emotion or, wear his emotions on his sleeve? Probably not. But, we try to keep those guys together. And I think Chris is late, and I think we should penalize him. 15 yards, personal foul. But he's done a great job. I mean, he's, Ryan has stayed locked in, and I think that's why he is where he is today. So I think, but that's a great question for him when you get to sit down with him.
How about B.J. Williams' development from his freshman year to now?
B.J. was impressive in the spring. We're waiting to see it this fall yet. In the Spiders, it's hard to tell. But we're gonna kick him in the butt today and see what we can get out of B.J. But B.J.'s a talented dude.
He's a right guard.
He's a right guard right now, and he's still there. And we were happy with where he was in the spring, and we'll find out this fall. Spring ball Americans don't care for him. Like fall Americans.
Looking at Lyndon Cooper, it seems like he'll be battling for that center position. What have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, Lyndon had an average, practice 1, a really good practice 2, and again the pads go on. But Lyndon and Terrence Moore are fighting it out at that center spot for sure. It's kind of be fun to watch. They both got a little bit different style, and our guys are impressed with Coop on offense.
Pat, we heard a lot from your offensive linemen about the phrase running off the ball. They have to get back to doing that this season. How have you guys tried to emphasize that in practice or in the film room to get it all on the field?
You know, they're out there hitting the sled the other day, which, you know, gets me excited. I mean, they're running and hitting people. You know, I think last year we just didn't play like we needed to. And again, why? Because I think we were thinking too much. And, you know, when you're running off the ball, you're not thinking. So I think that's part of the style of our offense. That's part of Coach Bell's philosophy is you know, keep it simple, let our guys play fast, and don't give them too much to think about pre-snap. And I think that's part of why we'll see those guys maybe being average players a year ago and being above average to great players this year.
Cade told us he'll be down on the field this year. You've had coordinators in the booth, you've had coordinators on the field. You yourself, I think you went back and forth between the two. When he told you he wanted to be on the field, were you like, okay, good, that's what I would like to see you do?
You know what, again, I'm not micromanaging that. I like both. So it doesn't really matter. It's where you feel comfortable. I mean, if I want him to be in the box and he wants to be on the field, mistake, bad. So it's what he feels comfortable. He loves being on the field. You know, to me, there's you know, a lot of merit to that. You got to have the people up there. I'd like to be up there. If you said, hey, choose what you like, I love being up there so I can see. But I miss the emotional part of the game and getting in those guys' faces. You know, so he gets that, and if he can do it from the field, that's great. You have to just have great eyes up above that you can trust.
With being able to use the tablets now, would you be more inclined to go on the field if you were coordinator now?
Yeah, that would help me out a bunch. You know, no doubt about it. I'd be watching the whole series, you know, on the sideline. I might not talk to anybody though.
Have you guys started using those in practices?
We have not. We will start that up next week. Hopefully, we're still waiting for all the technology to get set. Kind of disappointed it hadn't got done already, but you know, we'll use them. We'll have plenty of time. We use them in the spring game, but you know, that was at, you know, Acrisure, so you know, we'll start using them next week. And again, they're important in practice, but you know, they're not going to be vital. We're so busy coaching. You know, it's, you know, I'm not sure even how much we'll use it in practice.
Anything else?
Ooh.
Good hands.
All right, guys.